Hey guys, how you doing? Just wanted to double check if you guys can hear me and see my screen loud and clear. Okay, great. Awesome. You guys can hear and see me. All right, so tonight, guys, I really want to take you through two pretty powerful concepts that I think if you master, you'll start getting the results that you see the top owners getting in our business. So it's edification and close. So a lot of people don't understand the power edification has in our business. And a lot of people are not very confident when it comes to closing. So I want to teach you these two elements tonight. I'm going to make it a really quick one, but I want to add as much value as possible when I'm teaching this subject, okay? So let's get straight into it. So edification and closing. So there's 3 stages of learning that I feel that people go through, okay? So listening and watching is the first stage. When I first started, the biggest thing that I did was I took a lot of notes and I did a lot of recording. And the reason why is because I wanted to go over those recordings and notes to really go back through and learn it myself. So I hope you guys are taking a lot of notes, and obviously this is recorded so you can keep watching it over and over again. And the next part of the learning process is actually practicing it. So there's 2 ways we can practice. We can role play with our teams, or we can frontline. Frontlining is when we go out there and we actually do and practice edification and practice closing and just going out there and creating action. So you'll learn from that. But a lot of people are so scared because of the rejection or failure and so forth. Role play is a great way to do it as well, because we get to practice in a safe environment with our team. So it prepares us when we go out there and we talk to the people on our list, okay? So that's the second way. And the third way is actually teaching. Teaching is the most important stage, because now you have to get the information and articulate it in a way and communicate to another person that they understand. Now, when you can start teaching the stuff that I'm going through tonight in a way where people just get it, that's when you reached a level of your development where your rank and your team is going to start to grow. Okay, so those are the 3 stages. And the reason why I would like to start off like this is you got to understand when you're watching this stuff or when you're watching training videos and so forth, you go through these 3 stages: listening and watching, taking notes, right? Then you got to start practicing and frontlining and taking action. And then when you start growing a team, you got to actually teach it. And your teaching has got to be in an effective way where people get it. Okay. So after you teach, obviously your mentor or your upline really coaches and inspects how you're teaching and really gives you a tip to improve that. Okay. So the power of edification. Edification creates influence, as I talk about all the time. So what is influence? Influence is, the best way to describe it is when people talk, they just, when someone talks and you just listen to that person, okay, that is influence. This person, you admire, you take their word, you trust them, whatever they say, you do, right? That's influence, okay? So when you have this influence, your business and the way you lead a team is going to change a lot, okay? And when you have influence, people will follow. Simple as that. Once you have the influence, people will follow. So how do you get influence? Well, you look at some of the world leaders like Obama and all these influential leaders like Gandhi and even Jesus and all these people, right? They have influence because of what they have done. Okay, what they've done to society, what they've done to humanity, what they've done to to impact the world. So they basically worked extremely hard and to change something, and that's why they have influence, because of the hard work they did. So how is influence in our business created? Well, your rank. As you go up the ranks, you start as a promoter, you hit 2K, you hit Emerald. Once you start hitting Emerald, you get the electric car bonus, you start progressing in leadership, you hit Diamond, Blue Diamond, White Diamond, therefore your influence starts to increase because your production increases, your team increasing, your income increases, therefore your influence increases as well, which is very important for you guys to understand, okay? And sell the success stories. What that means is there's not enough selling of success stories, I believe. And that's the key to edification. If you don't know how to sell someone's success story, you don't know how to edify correctly. Okay, I want to touch on it, later on as I go through. And then you got to learn how to play the edification game. So I've been focusing on this area a lot in the business, and I really want to teach you guys how to play this edification game, because it's very crucial that you understand how to play this. Because once you learn how to play this edification game, your business is going to start moving forward, okay? So everyone's seen this before, right? This is the edification trial. This is a simple way to teach a new promoter how to edify, okay? So we have the triangle. We have you at the top, and then the expert here and your friend, right? So you and your friend, right, have that trust. So when you get a new promoter to do their list, they're going to put their friends and stuff like that on their list. And usually most of the time that friend doesn't have any influence in a business sense. And if you're unaware of this and your friend you go to talk to your friend about business and they've never heard you do any business or seen you do any business, there's not going to be any influence there. So they're not going to buy into you. Okay. And if they don't buy into you, they're going to say, no, it's not for me, or whatever it is. You're going to cop more rejection. And if you don't prepare your new rep for that, they're going to be like, oh, no one wants this opportunity. Oh, it's not going to work for me. And they get all victim, right? So you got to make sure that you teach them the importance of edification, because what we need to do is we need to raise the influence of another person, okay? So we need to get the expert involved. So how does it work? Well, what you do is you must edify the expert, okay? And usually your Emerald Plus upline. And when you edify the expert, you're telling the person about their success and what type of person they are, okay? So edify their success and edify their character. So now what you want to do is get your friend to meet the expert, either on a phone call or at the party. And when this happens, right, your friend is gonna respect the expert because of what you said to your friend. So, for example, if I was edifying Francesco, I'm saying he's a diamond director. He's been in the business for over 14 months. He's pretty successful at being able to get his Audi from the organization, and it's helped a lot of people get better health, but also achieve financial success. But the most important thing, he's pretty honest and humble person, and the most important thing, he's there to help people, and he's very easy to talk to. And he's actually helping me do this business at the moment. Okay, so what I did there was edify his success and edify his character. So now my friend's going to respect Francesco. Does that make sense? So now you introduce the expert. The expert, guess what? He's going to edify you back. And what happens in this scenario is the expert is giving you influence. So part of his influence. So this is how we play the game. And you guys, yes, you understand what I'm saying right now, but you don't know how to create action and actually apply this, because not a lot of people are doing it right now. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the application in the next couple of slides. Okay, so how can we use this edification? Well, 3 calls. 3 calls are very important to really set up the person coming up to your prospect coming to a party. So I like to do the leading story, send a couple of tools so they understand, and then get the third party expert on a 3 call. So now you can edify your expert, and they can jump on a 5-minute phone call, and your friend is going to hear the expert talk about the products and the business, right? And the expert is going to lock your friend into the party. So basically, it just locks the person in to come into a party. So we really got to get good at 3 calls and really learn how to set that up and start the edification process there. Introducing guests at parties. Now, this is an area where a lot of people are weak at. This is very important because I'm going to talk later in closing. This is where the closing starts, right? Starts with the 3 call, starts with before the party even happens. So what I would do if I was a promoter and I just got a prospect that I sent some tools and they got on a phone call with Francesco, I would straight away introduce my prospect to Francesco, because I know that I've edified him already and he's going to help me close, and he has the influence right now. So I'm going to go and introduce my friend straight away. And before I do this, I already told Francesco about his hot buttons. Okay, I'm going to go on about that afterwards, but it's just, hot buttons just means, what is this person? What's in it for this person? Do they want to travel? Do they want to earn more income? Do they want to get out of the 9-to-5 system? What is it? What is in it for them, basically, right? And so the expert and my prospect can connect to that, into that level, okay? And then what the expert is going to do is going to edify me back and give me some influence, even though I have no results, just started the business, 1 day old, and all that stuff, right? So edification, we speak of it highly because it is so crucial for you guys to practice and role play this. Okay, it's easy to understand it and teach it. Okay, it's very simple to teach, but through application, this is where you're going to learn how to play the edification game a lot stronger. Okay, so I really want you guys to obviously take notes and role play it, and then be able to teach it. Okay, so the next part is this game. I've been calling it playing the edification game. So I'm teaching you how this game is played. So basically, it starts with you. And when you first start the business, you have no influence because you haven't got results yet. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to edify and sell your Emerald Upline story, because they have the influence. Okay. They are the expert. And when you keep selling the story of success, and when you keep edifying this person, this person's influence grows bigger and bigger in your new promoter's eyes or your prospect's eyes. Okay. And then what happens is the edification will be brought back to you. The expert will start to edify you, right? And that's going to give you some influence, and that creates your friend. Now the friend will buy into you. Okay, this edification game is basically played when you first introduce someone. You got to make sure that you're selling the story of the Emerald Upline and also the stories of other people who have created success in the business the diamonds, the blue diamonds, the white diamonds. You got to sell their story and build that edification to your friend, okay? Because they're going to be hearing Dave on the webinar. They're going to be seeing me at trainings. They're going to be seeing your Emerald at trainings, at parties and so forth. And you're going to be like, that's the guy I was talking about. You're selling this story of this person who's created success from basically nothing to where they are now. And the more you build the story, the more you edify the third party. It could be done cross-line in a different organization or whatever it is. But the most important thing is you got to keep selling that story, which I find that no one's doing it to a very high level at the moment, okay? And the reason why is because, I'll tell you, if you don't do it, it's hard to create influence for yourself, okay? So you need to be bringing in a third party all the time. Whether you want a rep to do a training, whether you want a new promoter to plug into the system, whether you want a guest to come to a party, always got to be edifying, selling the story. That's your whole key role. The promoter's role is to promote. You got to promote this person at this venue. So for example, I'm doing a party this Saturday. The guy should be promoting that I'm doing the party, build my story, build that edification. Now people come to see that. And guess what? When I have the influence, I can be direct to people. So now they bring their prospects and whatever. I can be more direct. Hey, let me show you exactly. And then I edify you. So that's how you play the game. Okay, but I don't see that happening so much in our organization. It's because, you know, yeah, we understand edification. Yeah, we know how to teach it, but we're not actually applying it and working this to our advantage. Okay, so you've got to be always edifying the third party to create influence for you. So the problems I see, no one knows how to edify correctly, right? No one is edifying or selling success stories, right? The edification game is not played correctly. Therefore, you won't be able to get people to parties or events or trainings or whatever it is, because you're not selling that story. So for example, let's say I'm at a party, right? And the promoters that you came, they don't even know who the hell I am. Are they going to listen to me when I train them? Probably not, right? Because they don't know who I am. They don't know my story or anything like that. Okay, so it's very important that you make sure that you keep selling people's success stories and really play that edification game to a stronger level. Okay, because it's going to really help you create that influence, right? So the next step, how do you play the edification game with your team? So when you first start, you basically have a little influence. Okay, just pretend you're a new promoter. You just hit rising star. Okay, so you achieve some sort of success. So you're creating a little bit of influence, and you got you know, your promoter started. But what you're doing is you're not edifying anyone. So you're not using your upline, your Emerald Plus upline to your advantage. So you're not selling anyone's story. You're not edifying no one, right? So you're basically doing it all yourself. Okay, this is very dangerous. I'll tell you why. The results is that your new rep, right, is going to see that you're only a rising star. Okay, and what happens is now suddenly they don't buy into you. Okay, because of your rank or whatever it is. And what happens is they don't start to listen to you. They start to do their own thing. They don't communicate. And you try to tell them exactly what to do because you got taught by, you know, let's say Emerald Upline, they taught you, but you haven't edified them. And you're trying to teach your promoter, but you got no influence. And you sound like you're their boss. So what happens is now your new promoter ain't going to listen to you. Right? So when they don't listen to you, now they're either going to do it their own way, they're going to drop off. They're not going to plug into the system. They're not going to come to training. They're not going to go to anything because you haven't edified another third party. Now, what happens is if you do it this way, you start with a little influence, okay? Same scenario as before, and this is your new rep. You start selling the story of the Emerald Upline Plus. Okay, you can sell any your emerald upline, your diamond, your blue diamond, your white diamond, whatever it is, you basically keep selling the story, okay? And you keep edifying this third party. And what happens, this third party edifies you. But the most important thing I want you to tell you guys is you must live up to the edification, okay? You must live up to the edification, because if they edify you and you don't rock up to, let's say I'm edifying you and you say, oh, this, Bob, he's fully committed to the system. He rocks up to every single party, every single training, and you don't rock up to, the parties or trainings. What's happening is the new rep is not going to buy into you, and therefore my edification lowers as well. Okay, so the key thing there is if we edify you, so if the emerald upline edifies you, you must live up to the edification. Okay, so now what happens is, let's say your new rep, they get used to you, let's say they're not sticking to the system, or they don't communicate, or they're doing something that you're telling them that you got to do it this way because this is the proven way to get results, and they're not listening, right? So what you do, because you edified the third party upline, you tell the upline what's happening. Say, Bob, Bob's not committed to the basic training. He thinks he knows enough about the basic training, and he's trying to train his new promoters, but he doesn't really know what he's training yet. So you tell me that, right? I'll come in, I can be more direct to Bob because you built this story of my success and I have that influence. So what I do is I'll come in there and say the exactly same stuff that you've been saying, but they actually do it. Why? It's because you built my story. It's because you sold my story, you kept building my edification, and now I have the power to be more direct, and they're going to listen to me because I have the results, because you built that story, okay? So is the most important thing is, see, if you don't play this game with the team, with the edification game with the team, you're going to have the results on the left-hand side. So no edification, your team's going to fall apart. But with edification, right, and you keep selling the story, anytime you're having trouble with the team, or the team's not doing what you recommended, you tell the upline plus, and they will help you tell the new promoter or tell the team what they need to do. And then they set you up again. They edify you again, and it gives you more influence. That's how you play the edification game. It's pretty simple, but no one's doing it because they don't understand how powerful edification is and how to play the edification game properly. Okay, so everyone knows how to teach edification, and great. That's great. But if you're not applying it, if you don't really understand this concept, you're not going to get a fast-growing team. Okay, so hopefully that really drives in the message of how important edification is. So I want to move on to the next step, which is closing. Okay, so the golden rule in closing, I want you guys to remember this. People buy from the 3rd to 8th points of contact. It is not like a retail store. This business is not like a retail store where you go in and just purchase a pair of shoes. 1 point of contact. We're basically selling the results of what the products can do to people's health and the results of how the opportunity can help them. So we're selling them results, okay? So in order for them to purchase, we got to load up multiple contacts, 3 to 8 points. How do we do that? Leading stories, 3 calls, parties, trainings, follow-up meetings, regional event, annual events. All these are points of contact to give the person information to get them across the line to either buy into the products or buy into the business, okay? So how does this work? We call it the ladder of escalation. So first of all, you start off with a conversation and you just general chit chat, building rapport, and stuff like that. And you're just trying to find out some pain or frustration of where this person's at. And then you want to do your leading story. Your leading story is a couple of lines that piques the person's interest. Hey, Bob, I know that you're working 2 different jobs. I'm actually doing a business on the side right now with my full-time job, right? And it's helping me create another income. I know that you're looking for another way to create more income because you don't want to work 2 different jobs, right? You should check out what I'm doing, okay? So that's my leading story. It's just a couple of lines that piques people's interest, right? To really intrigue them to say, okay, tell me more. What is it? Next step, send them a tool. Send them a tool gives them more information about the products, about the business. Now, just a little bit of it. It's not the whole presentation. It's just a little bit of information to get the point across about the products, why we need the products, and get the point across about the business and how people can create success in the business. Okay, so sending a tool really that's another point of contact. So you start a conversation, lead in a story, send them a tool. That's 3 points of contact. Fourth is a 3-way call. 3-way call is just another point of contact to give them more information so you can edify a third party. So you can now start to play the edification game on this 3-way call, right? And also it gets another point of contact. Next, intro them to the party. Now they come to the party, they check it out, they meet the third party expert, they see the culture, they see how it works, they see the products, they taste it, they feel it, they touch it, right? They see the culture and the energy and the cars and the success. Now they see everything. So the next step is get them started, okay? So once you get them started, you got to ask the question, obviously, and I'll move on to that. So get them started and then book them into a pre-party. Right, pre-party, you go through the booklet, make a list, help them invite the top 20. Okay, set them up to a party, right? And then plug them into the system, right? So you got to make sure that you load up multiple exposures so they get the best results, so they can join the team, whether it's the customer or in the business. And okay, let's say they didn't get started. What do? Let's say they didn't get started. They do a follow-up meeting, 3-way call, or send more tools. Okay? Do not do a pre-party. They have not started. You don't do a pre-party for people who haven't started. The reason why is because let's say you spend an hour on a pre-party. They haven't started, right? And they just disappear. You just wasted that 1 hour. Okay? So what you do is you make sure you do a follow-up call or follow-up meeting where you just catch up and just handle all the objections, show them a little bit more information about, the tools and so forth like that, and then get them started, right? Get them started there, or if they're not interested or they don't want to get started, do a follow-up in a month's time. Okay, so that's the next step. If they want to get started, do the pre-party and plug them into the system. Okay, so that's the ladder of escalation. That's sort of how you move a person through the business to get the best results. And it's pretty simple when you put it like that, okay? But it's overwhelming if you don't have a structure or don't understand when the next meeting is or what should I do here. But if you keep just following the structure, and you'll start to develop a pattern where you get used to, and it's much more easier to push your people through these multiple exposures to really get them the best chance to succeed, okay? As you can see there, plug them into the system is the final step. You can get someone started, right, as a promoter. But if you've got no system, if you don't plug them in, you've got no residual income. They're either going to do a refund or they're going to quit the business because there's no system. Their system is support. The system is they see how to do a party. They see how to do an org meeting. They see how to do a basic training. You're giving them the best chance to succeed. And the most important thing is once they plug into the system, right, that's when you start developing residual income because the system is going to produce rising stars, right? Because they're getting the training, they're inviting to parties and so forth. And that's how you create residual income as a promoter. Once you got that started, you help this person groom into a leader. And what they do is they develop their own system with their team. And you got to at least have like 5 to 10 people to start your whole system. Org meeting, basic training, multiple parties, invite sessions, and stuff like that, right? And in this industry of network marketing, it's all about duplication of the system. If you can start duplicating the system, that's when you know you're going to have long-term residual income. The more leaders you got running systems, right, the longer the residual income is and the more solid the residual income is, okay? Customers, how they create residual income is just help customers get on the challenge, get them results, and they keep purchasing the products when they get the results. So that's a ladder of escalation. Now, moving on to closing out parties. So the reason why I want to show you the ladder of escalation is because you need to know how to move someone through the process. This next step is actually closing the person, okay? Now, you got to be prepared. If you're not prepared, don't worry about signing them up. If you don't have an app form, if you don't have pens, pre-party booklets, or memory jogger, you're not prepared to sign anyone up. You go in there, you're already lost. You lost the battle. You might as well book the follow-up meeting, right there and then. Okay, so even though I stress this point, I see a lot of people not prepared. They don't have Apple Arms. They don't have pens. They don't have booklets. They don't have memory joggers. How are you expecting to close the person if you're not prepared? Oh, my upline has it. No, if you want to duplicate, if you want to take this business seriously, you have to have all these things all ready to go. Okay. If you don't have it, guess where it is? Go to Run for White Diamond. All the information is there. Okay. So make sure you're prepared, guys. Now the closing process begins at the party. So what do you need to do? Well, first of all, you need to notify your upline, Emerald Plus upline, or whoever's closing your party, right? You need to tell them the types of guests you're bringing and their hot buttons. So if I was bringing someone to the party, I would tell my upline, let's say it's Marco. I mean, Marco, I got this guy coming. He's pretty switched on. He's in sales and marketing already, and he's actually really entrepreneur minded. But the thing he's interested in, he wants to be his own boss, and he's frustrated with working for someone else. So that's his hot buttons. So now Marco knows that, right? So Marco, he already, when I introduce him to Marco at the party, Marco already knows what this guy's about, right? He knows how to ask questions based on what I just said to really get the results. And basically Marco is basically closing for me already because he's going to establish that rapport and really relate to his hot buttons, right? So that's what I just mentioned there. Intro your guests to your upline before the party, so they can help you close your guests, right? So the guest has seen a tool and been on through a call. Now, this is very important. You don't want to rock up with guests who haven't seen any tools, any through calls, anything. They don't know nothing about what they're about to see. Now, that's a formula for drama or failure, because you got some random person, got no idea what's going on, hasn't seen any tools, videos, met anyone, and they're just rocked up. Now, that's a house full of people, not a house full of buyers. Now, we don't want that, because let's say they have a negative experience. Guess what they're going to say about your health and you? Hey, they just try to get me into this house and they're trying to sell me all this stuff. And they're all about money and they're lying and all that stuff, right? So we don't want that. So you got to make sure that everyone that comes to the party has at least seen a tool or at least been on a through call so they understand what they're coming to. You rather pick someone up and bring them to the party. You tell me, would you rather pick someone up who hasn't seen any tools or videos and they'll just rock it up? Okay, you just got a person doesn't know what the hell's going on. You just pick them up and drive them to the party. Or would you want the person to seen a tool, been on a through call, and know what's going on and know the hot buttons and then take them to the party? Of course, number two, right? Because they're more likely to sign up. The first option is they're more likely to hate on you and be very negative and have a bad experience. So we don't want that. As soon as the presentation finishes, you must form a pod. Okay, so this is an area where a lot of people don't remember to do, and the pod is very important because you're breaking into a circle to give to really give the person the best information. Okay, so now last thing I'll touch on is the pods and the meeting conduct of this, right? So when you break into the pod, make sure it's 3 to 4 people, not too big. Okay. And the reason why, if it's too big, it's too noisy, there's a lot, and you're going to be yelling, and it doesn't really get you to relate to the person that the people that you're talking to in the pod. So 3 to 4 people max, okay? And also, as your promoters, you make sure that you have your app forms and pens, pre-party booklets, memory joggers all ready to go. And I was meant to say ready. But anyway, so, and then you teach your promoters, right, to ask a couple questions. The first question is, what do you like best? I like to use that. Don't ask them what you think. What do you like best? How do you see it helping you? Okay. And then they say, okay, let me show you how it works, right? So when you say, okay, let me show you how it works, I'm going to teach you how to get to Rising Star, right? So, oh, sorry, I forgot. Before you even sit into the pods, make sure you identify all the negative people and kick them out of the room politely. I'll show you how to do it. hey, are you more leaning towards a customer or promoter or not interested? Oh, I'm not interested. Okay, great. Thanks so much for coming. You don't have to stay for this part. And let them go out. Or just say, there's some samples outside. Yeah, have a taste of that. My main point is get the negative people out of the room. Okay? Don't let the negative person sit into a pod. Just a negative energy and a bad posture. It just puts a bad vibe on the pod, right? So make sure you get all the negative people outside. Get them out. And then once you got the people interested, you make sure you know the customers and promoters, and then you show the customers what customer says to purchase, and then you show the promoters how they get to Rising Star. Now, I like to do this because it shows them, I'm going to draw out how to get to Rising Star, and it's going to give them a better understanding. So let me show you how it works. So I'll flip out on the back of the app form, and I'll go, all right, I'll write out Rising Star. You need 2,000 PV in your 28 days. But I'm going to help you do it 7 days or less. So I'm actually writing this out on the back of the app form, okay? And the reason why I want to help you get to Rising Star in 7 days or less is because you get your first check, you start your first team, and you start believing it can work for you, right? And also, we have 28 days. So if you're missing your first 7 days, we've got 3 more other chances to hit Rising Star, okay? So that's how you set up. Now, I flip back and I'll show you the packs. So if you want to be a promoter, right? You told me that you really want to help your parents. Cool. Well, these are the 3 sets you're looking at. You're looking at the membership. I'll write this down. I'll write the membership. That's 0 PV and it's 87 bucks. You can get the promoter set for 80 PV. It's about 908 bucks. Or the entrepreneur set, 908 PV or 1,500 bucks. In the promoter set, you get 5 parties. The entrepreneur set, you get 10 parties. Okay? So how does this work? Next thing all right, so our goal, remember, is 2,000. So I'll write that in. For example, out of these 3 packs, I recommend the entrepreneur set. Why? Because the business is $0. For that amount of money, you're getting a free business. All you're doing there is buying products. You have 10 parties worth of products. You can do, the more parties you do, obviously the more income you can create, but also you have products to use for yourself and sample it out to parties as well, okay? And it's best value for money because the shipping, I think it's only 18 bucks, okay? So let's say, for example, you purchase the entrepreneur set. 908 PV comes with points, right? So 2,000, that's our goal, minus 908 equals 1,092, okay? So now you only need that for Rising Star. What we then do is we do a party. Let's say a couple of people want to, one of your friends wants to be a promoter and another wants to be a customer. Promoter and a customer, that's over 1,092. That equals Rising Star. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let me recap. So you need 2,000, right? Cool. If you purchase an entrepreneur set, 908 points will be wiped off. So now you only need that. Okay, cool. We do your first party. I'll be here to help you as well. Let's say you got 1 promoter, 1 customer. You are now Rising Star. So I explained to them this process because it really helps them understand how to get to Rising Star and what pack to buy, because I'm using the entrepreneur set as an example, right? So I'm leaning towards and I'm making the entrepreneur set sound very attractive, which it is. And I said, and then and then once you do that, okay, the next step, if you never ask, you will never receive. So a lot of people are scared to ask for the close. And the reason why is the rejection. No one likes to be rejected. But if you do not ask for the close, you just spent all that time explaining everything, bringing them, driving to the party, sending their tools, and you didn't ask the question, right? That's a lot of effort to go to not even asking, what set would you like? So you got to make sure that you have enough confidence to ask the question. You've done all the hard work and you want to ask the question to give them the best chance. So which pack are you leaning towards? The promoter or entrepreneur set? And you keep just, you know, if this is too hard for you to say, keep saying it over and over again. So you're getting used to it, okay? Who cares if they say no? It's a right if they say no. It's fine. At least you asked the question and you're practicing. let's get you started so you can get the products tonight, and we can get you earning money as soon as possible to really help you out, to help your family out. Which pack suits you the best? Another one. Do you see how this can help you? Great. Let's get your products tonight so we can get you to your goals and hit Rising Star. Which pack suits you the best? Figure out a line which you feel comfortable saying, and say it at the end of your presentation. Because if you do not ask, you will not receive. Think about it. You've done all the hard work. You start a conversation, lead a story, send a tool, 3 a call. Now they come to a party because you drove them there using your own petrol. You got them to this point. They've seen the presentation. They said they want to join. They said they want to be a promoter. You've gone through the Rising Star, but you don't ask them which pack they like. That's a lot of effort, right? So make sure you ask the question, okay? Just write out a line, what you feel comfortable with, and say that line at the end of the presentation, okay? Come up with a line that you feel comfortable saying. All right. So I was going to touch on something that was pretty important. Okay, cool. So once you understand that you've asked them the question, you've got to be good at handling objections and so forth. But that, I'm going to say that to another sort of training. But I just want to teach really the importance of edifying and how to play the edification game a lot stronger. So you really can utilize other people's influence to really help a new person get started, or even help the people on your team who are not listening to you really get the third party expert in there to really help you out with that. And also the importance of closing and the steps of closing. I mean, if you start to understand, the process of the ladder of escalation, and you're just moving people through these steps and just keep moving through these steps and really giving them multiple exposures so they can really help make a decision to join the business or use the products or whatever, it's really going to help grow your business a lot stronger. And then just stick to, being prepared when you close, and really drawing out Rising Star really helps me really get the point across and really push the importance of the entrepreneur set. Okay, and then also asking the questions, which pack are you leaning towards, the promoter, entrepreneur. Okay, so that is it for me tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure, remember the 3 levels of learning, right? You guys done a lot of note taking and listening and watching, right? Now you got to start role playing and getting out there in front line and creating action so you can learn the stuff even quicker. But you're gonna start failing, but from the failures you're gonna start to learn as well. Once you learn, you're gonna start growing a team, and then you got to start teaching this stuff. Okay, those are the 3 levels that you guys got to go through. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.